All right, let's get straight to it. I'm your quality assurance auditor, and I'm your lead data analyst. We're not here to talk about abstract ideas today. We're here to review the very real, very strict quality standards that separate a functional data analytics team from a failed one. These are the standards you will be held to, no exceptions.
So, let's start with a case study, a real-world failure. We had $1 million financial dashboard. The C-suite lived on this thing. And last quarter, it just died, went completely dark. So, what was the culprit? You'd think it was something massive, right? A server meltdown? Maybe a complex cyber attack?
Nope, it was a single null value. That's it. One empty cell buried in a dataset with millions of rows, and it created a chain reaction that brought the whole thing down. And this right here is the crucial lesson. Data isn't like a car. A tiny scratch on a car is just a cosmetic flaw. But in our world, that one tiny flaw, a wrong date format, a single null where a number should be, it's not a scratch, it's a critical engine failure. Quality is everything.
Exactly. That kind of fragility is completely unacceptable, which is why our process has to be like a fortress, starting right at the gate, the moment data even tries to enter our environment. So let's talk about that first line of defense. How do we stop that null value at the door before it can do any damage?
It's a three-step protocol. Mandatory. No skipping steps. First, we check for completeness. Are all the rows and columns we're expecting actually there? We don't assume, we verify. Second, validity. Does the data look right? If a data is supposed to be year, month, day, then that's the only format we accept. Anything else is rejected. And third, timeliness. Is the data fresh? Because stale data is useless data. And let me be clear, these aren't friendly suggestions. They're absolute, non-negotiable requirements for any data we accept.
And if any dataset fails even one of those checks, it's immediately flagged as faulty. Same goes for corrupted files, weird text encoding, or data that just makes no sense, like an age column with a negative number. The protocol here is critical. You don't try to be a hero and fix it yourself. You isolate it, you report it, you follow the SOP to the letter. This isn't about slowing things down, it's about protecting the entire system from contamination.
Okay, so that handles bad data coming in. But what about when the call is coming from inside the house? What happens when an analyst, one of our own, introduces the error? You write a script, you clean some data, and you make a mistake. What's the standard for catching our own faults?
The standard is a mindset, really. It's this. The toughest code review you face should be your own. Before anyone else lays eyes on your work, not your peer, not your manager, you have to be its harshest critic. As a Level 3 analyst, that's the expectation. You are the first and most important quality gate.
And here's what that looks like in practice. 3 things. First, documentation. Is your code commented? Is it named correctly? Think about it. Could someone else pick up your work 6 months from now and understand it without you there to explain? They have to. Second, error isolation. You don't just run a massive script and hope for the best. You run small unit tests on individual pieces to find and fix problems while they're small and manageable. And finally, deviation reporting. If you clean a dataset and your process removes, say, 20% of the rows because they were nulls, you don't just sweep that under the rug. You document it. You report it. That's not a mistake. That's integrity.
Good. That's the individual discipline we expect. But that's just the foundation, right? So let's scale up. How does all this meticulous individual work build into a reliable, enterprise-wide quality system? What's the impact on the big picture, like our processes and our archiving?
It's all about making sure information can actually be found when it's needed. Look, systematic archiving isn't just about keeping your digital workspace neat. It's about operational readiness. We've all seen the ineffective way. Someone yells, "Where's that Q3 report?" And it kicks off a 30-minute scramble through old emails and messy shared folders. It's chaos. The system we build, the quality system, turns that into this. Pulling the Q3 report now, a 30-second query. That's the difference. That's the goal.
And we don't just hope our system is good, we measure it. We make quality something you can actually see on a dashboard. We track the accuracy rate. How often do we nail it on the first try without needing rework? We monitor data refresh frequency. Are we keeping our promises about how up-to-date the data is? We look at user adoption. Are people actually using the tools we build? And maybe the most important of all, business relevance. It's not enough for a report to be accurate. If it doesn't help someone make a smarter decision, it's failed.
That leads us right to the final point, and honestly, the only one that really matters.
You can understand all these processes, you can memorize these metrics, but it is all completely worthless if you don't actually do it. This isn't a lecture, it's a mandate for action.
That's it, right there. You can talk a good game about quality, but in this line of work, proficiency is demonstrated, not declared. It's proven in every single query you write, in every data set you touch. You don't get to say you're proficient, you have to be proficient. You have to do the work.
And now it's your turn to demonstrate. Your assignments are not optional. You will complete the data quality audit as detailed in Task Sheet 3.21, and you will execute the archiving exercise from Operation Sheet 3.1-1. Just to be crystal clear, these aren't practice. This is where you prove you understand and can apply the standards we just went over. Show us your work. Show us your quality.